Welcome to Amplify Digest. I'm your host, Lars Schmidt, and each week I break down some of the top news, trends, and stories and all things people in 5 minutes or less. So let's dig right in. This first piece is a really thorough report from McKinsey on this new world of work that we're building. And it gets into some realities around both kind of HR and talent management that we need to be thinking about as we're building this new world of work. And so lots of good takeaways here. This one's definitely worth your time. As is this one. You've seen in past episodes, I've shared some data from Microsoft on the new kind of triple peak workday and kind of what flexibility means as it shows up when you start to assess the online behaviors in Teams and Slack and tools like that. And what it's showing is that for a lot of us, we have a third peak in our day. There's a morning peak, an afternoon peak, and for many of us now, an evening peak. And it's interesting. I think that there's a range of perspectives on this. I don't necessarily think that's a bad idea. I think that's the aspect of flexibility. If I want to end my, work day at 4 p.m., play with my kids, do hobbies, whatever it might be, until 9 p.m., and then jump back on and maybe take care of some meetings or projects afterwards, I think that's what workplace flexibility is all about. But this New York Times article gets into a bit more detail on some of the studies and findings, and curious to get your thoughts. Triple peak, a good thing or a bad thing? I don't think it's bad, but we'll see. I could be wrong. Also want to share this really great report from the Adecco Group on the changing nature of the Chief People Officer role. And it gets into some specifics on the role and also aspects of this new world of work that we're building. Hat tip to Ciara Lakhani for sharing this report with me. And this is a PDF. You're going to want to dig into this. This one might be worth a bookmark. You may want to revisit some of the data here and the information at a later point, but some really interesting perspectives on just the nature of the CPO role specifically and how that's evolving and much more. And shout out to Hung Lee and his amazing Recruiting Brain Food newsletter, which if you're not subscribed to, you should fix that. Every week it's got just a goldmine of great resources, but this is a fascinating study from a company that did some A/B testing with their hybrid work structure. And what they found is that employees in the hybrid test group had higher retention rates, higher engagement rates, higher productivity rates. And basically, when they got done with the A/B testing, this particular company immediately rolled that out to all employees because they saw the benefit. So interesting piece. I hadn't seen a lot of studies like this that actually had, internal A/B testing from people that were co-located versus people who had the opportunity to work in a hybrid context. And last for this week, I want to flag this week's podcast for you, if this was not on your radar. This is a Redefining HR episode with Michael Bungay Sr. He is an author, an entrepreneur, a creative mind, a Rhodes Scholar. He's a lot of things, but this is a fascinating conversation around innovation and creativity and resilience in the workplace and what those things mean. Michael is a leading voice on coaching and so much more. And so it's fascinating to sit down with him and get his perspective and his method, both for writing books and how he really approaches creativity and innovation. And there's some great prompts and takeaways that I had that I plan on, bringing to my world from this conversation. I think you might as well. So definitely check that out on the website. And that's a wrap for this week. I'll have the links to all these articles and more on the Amplify Talent blog. And in the meantime, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you next week.